All right, practice problems. A, controlling speed. So our sprite is this flybot, and we want it to start moving up when the spacebar is pressed, and it should continue to move up even if the spacebar is released. So that's that key went down. So it says use an if statement in the draw loop to check when spacebar is pressed. And we want key went down. So we want key went down space, because after it's been pressed once, we're cool. And it says use the velocity y to make the sprite move up when the user presses the spacebar. I want like -5 to go up the screen. So once I've pressed the spacebar, it continues to go. That's that key went down. I'm seeing if it ever was pressed and it will continue to go. Had I done key down, I would have had to hold the key completely down. And dip the paintbrush in the paint. So we're going to use a conditional to send the paintbrush down if the down arrow is pressed. So we'll do that first. We will say if key down. This time I want the key to be pressed. If that's down, key down, then we're going to say velocity y for brush. Why don't we set it at like, that's pretty fast. We'll try 5. Okay. And then, if that's the case, we want to check to see if it reaches the palette. So that's going to be another if statement. And we want to know, if I run, I know I left it empty. I want to know where the palette is. Like, we want it to kind of like dip in the paintbrush. You can see it dips. So we're going to look to about right here. And that y is about 360. So we're going to say if... I'm going to type instead of grabbing blocks. You can pull your blocks if you'd like. Brush.y is greater than 360. Then we're going to have it go back up. So we're going to change that velocity to -5. So I press down, and there we go. That 360 is a little far. I'm going to do 340. That's better. And now it'll keep going off into space until I press the down arrow again. All right, and that is all the practice problems. For the assessment, swimming right and left, it says use the code to make the fish start moving right as soon as you press run. So as soon as you press the run button, it should move right, which would be velocity x. So I will say fish dot velocity x, and I don't know, I'm just going to do a 3. There we go. Okay, it starts. And then it says to use the conditional statements in the dot velocity block to make it swim back and forth continually. So if key went down right, I want it to be moving right. And well, it's only those 3 things, huh? If the fish gets to the right-hand side, so that's this, if fish.x is greater than 400, we're going to flip that velocity y of the fish to a -3 because we want it to move left across the screen. So we're going to pull this out here now. There we go. We're going to pull that out of the block so that it can go. So our fish is swimming backwards, so we need to change that fish animation to be fish left, because he'll be facing left. Let's make sure that works. Boop, boop. And then if the fish gets to this edge, which is 0, we want to change that velocity. And I'm going to steal and copy and paste these blocks. And I'm going to change that to a +3 and fish right. So there he goes. And anytime I press the right arrow key, it's got to go right, which means inside of here, I need this set animation as well. So anytime I want to make him go right, I can. So we'll do that fish right. And so if he starts going here, let's make sure he works on the left, or she, the fish, there we go. So at any point I should be able to press now the right arrow and make it go right. Okay, perfect. So that's all of the code for that one. We've got the initial starting of velocity 3 on the X, right arrow 3, turn right, hits the right side, flip it around to face left and go -3, so left. And again, if it hits the left-hand side, we go +3 and make the fish turn to the right. That's a hard one. We're going to do just this one. This is very challenging. So if you run this, it starts that alien moving up the screen and 0 on the velocity X. So you have to really be careful about this. So right now, that alien, if that Y is less than 50, so it starts right here, then we're going to change its X velocity and its Y velocity. We have to change both each time. So I want it to move to the right, and I want its Y velocity to be 0 at that point. I don't want it to move anymore. So that should get this first movement going. There we go. Now when it gets to the far right hand side, we got to change both of these again. So I'm just going to copy and paste. This time I want it to go down. So I'm going to make its X velocity 0 and its Y velocity +3 because I want it to move down. So we got 1, 2, 3. Now this one on the bottom, as it goes down, it's going to hit that 350 for the Y. Again, I'm going to paste these in. I want it now to move -3 and then 0 on the Y. And then finally, when it hits this edge, I want it to go up. So I'm going to, again, copy these, paste them, and we're going to reverse these because I want it to go up the screen. So we're going to go -3 Y and 0 on the X. Now it should run all the way around. Beautiful. And that's lesson 18, velocity.